Good morning, everyone. Thank you again for joining our webinar today on minimizing your time and effort in billing with AutoBill. This is Brian Anderson from the wsTOOLS team. I also have Brandon Mayer riding shotgun with me today as well. All right, so I might be able to give you a few minutes back in your day today. This one probably won't take a full 30 minutes. I have just one slide that I wanted to just lead into, and then we're going to jump right into the AutoBill functionality. AutoBill was really designed to help people use the process service invoice window better. Most people, and we found, most people weren't using that capability of the Key-to-Act signature product because it wasn't doing what they wanted it to do. AutoBill, what it does is allows you to invoice all the lines of a particular service call on one invoice, whereas the current functionality of the process service invoice, when you group those types of things, it was just grouping it up per customer, and it wasn't allowing you to do it a one-to-one relationship. So I'm going to go ahead and show you that. And I guess I should have mentioned also, if you have any questions throughout the webinar, just enter them in the questions pane, and we will be monitoring that area and answer them as we go. So thank you for that. All right, so again, AutoBill, really designed, and quite ironically, just in the last couple of months, we've actually had a couple of clients who hadn't been using the process service invoice window, and when we showed them what AutoBill could do, they quickly adopted that functionality and saved them hours and hours of time. In fact, there was one client who had missed some invoices, and by using this functionality, they were able not only to recognize the invoices that they missed, but they were able to do a year's worth of those invoices that they missed within a couple of hours. So pretty phenomenal turnaround for that particular client. All right, so without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and jump into our Dynamics GP environment here. And hopefully everyone can see that. And again, I mentioned it is functionality in Key-to-Act, the service part of Key-to-Act under process service invoices. And you'll find that under the transactions area of the service management of Key-to-Act here. So I'm going to jump in there. One thing that we will tell people that if they want to use this functionality, to try it out in your test system first. Again, if you haven't been using process service invoices, play around with it in your test system. And then if you also choose to subscribe to AutoBill, certainly we'd want you to test that out in the test system as well. So, I've opened up the process service invoices window. Again, this is all standard stuff that comes with Key-to-Act. There's different ways that you can pull up invoices you can do it by customer, you can do it by location, you can do it by date. And today I'm going to just show you by date. So I'm just going to go for April 12th here in my range of dates. Again, this could be for a week, could be for a month, could be whatever you want it to be. But I'm going to just, for this demo, choose April 12th, which is tomorrow. And you'll see that I've got a bunch of line items here. And if you count out the number of service calls, we have 1 service call here, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So all of these line items are around 6 service calls that have a date of April 12th on them here. Now, I can go ahead, I could select what service calls to bill by clicking on each one of these if I wanted to. But for the sake of the demo, I'm going to do bill all. Okay? So I want to create invoices for these 6 different service calls. And now where AutoBill will kick in now is if I go up to the additional functionality here, I can go into additional bill selected by service call. And again, as I mentioned earlier, this is the differentiation between what we do with AutoBill and what Out of the Box does, is this is going to generate 1 invoice per service call and have each of the line items on that invoice. So I'm going to go ahead and select that. It's going to prompt me if I, in fact, do want to do that. I'm going to go ahead and click OK. And now it's running. It's running. And what you'll see here now when it's done is you're going to see that it's designated, created an invoice, telling me that it did it okay. And you'll see now that I have an invoice for 433 that ties with this first service call. And then I have an invoice for each one of the other service calls as well. So it grouped them by service call on one invoice. And so really this is what it did. Behind the scenes it generated these invoices. And we're actually going to go ahead and take a look at this first one, invoice number 433. And we'll look to see what you can do now after these are generated. So the real value of AutoBill is to do these in bulk, right? But it doesn't change anything. One thing it did is it auto-assigned a batch number to these invoices. So you can go out and find it in your batches. You can also, again, it gets recorded as a member of this batch as well. And it starts with AB, meaning AutoBill. So this batch was created by AutoBill. It uses the date, 04/11 of 17, and then this is the first batch that AutoBill ran on this day. So that's how it came up with that batch number. All right, so let's go ahead and let's take a look. Well, before I do though, let's take a look at the numbers here because we're going to compare the numbers of this invoice. If you look at the 27, 25, 50, 90, and the $5 here, my mental math says that it's $197. So we're going to look, when we go to this invoice, we're going to want to make sure that it matches that $197 because that's what it's meant to do. So, all right, so that's what AutoBill did. So let's go now take a look at that invoice, 433. Okay, now I'm going to give you some extra stuff today. You're going to actually get to see a couple different tools. Now I could go into Signature Service Management and look for that invoice, but I'm going to use my quick find, Brandon, to find that invoice. So I use a Control F3. It pops up my quick find window, and I'm going to type in. I don't need to know all those leading zeros in the service, SRVC, whatever it was. All I need to do is type in part of the last few digits of that invoice, and I'm going to go ahead and search on that, and I'll go ahead and find it, and I can just double click from here, and it'll bring me into that invoice. Okay, and here's what AutoBill generated for me, and you'll see that it matched the dollar amount, right, the $197. And now from here, I can treat it like any other invoice. If I would have manually created it, I can go ahead and add my additional charges with my auto charges. I can go ahead and do that. I can go ahead and print it. I can go ahead and use my quick mail product to email it out to the customer as well. So let's go ahead to give you this bonus coverage today. I'm going to run through that scenario of I've now generated the invoice through AutoBill. Going into it now, maybe I want to add my auto charges. And again, if you folks aren't familiar with auto charge, it allows you to set up rules by any new invoice that's generated. You can define it by a customer, by a location, by a contract, or whatever. So when I click Add Auto Charges, if this particular customer and invoice matches that criteria, it's going to add whatever I define for that auto charge. So I'm going to go ahead and add auto charges. And actually, what it's going to do, I'll do it just because I know it's going to do it. It's going to say I cannot do that on an open service call. So I need to go ahead and just close the service call here. Complete it. All right, and now let's go ahead and run the auto charges. Oh, I got a little bit more of an issue there, but when it added, okay, it's been posted, so it added a shop. All right, so what it did is, and I should back up too. Auto charge works with the extended price matrix, so if you're using that, it works with that, and you'll see then I added some shop supplies here. It added that. I think I had a couple of auto charge rules running, so it added a few miscellaneous shop supplies as well. And I can go in and it actually does an audit trail of that. So if I click on that, it'll actually show that it was added by auto charge. So there's always an audit trail when you add the auto charges to it. So that would be my next thing. Now, if I wanted to go ahead and email this invoice out, I could certainly do that with my quick mail solution. And I can go ahead and select what format, and these formats are coming directly from your print menu, same format as you use there. I can go ahead, and this I could automatically just send it right now, but I can also tell the system, and I have to log in the very first time of the day here on the email. But I can go ahead and then now send this email to anyone that I want to. It's going to grab the defaults that you have set up in GP for your email addresses, but again, I can change this, or I can do do a CC maybe to a technician or something like that, I can go ahead and create a message. And again, this can be templated as well. Again, this could be a template. I'll go ahead and save it, and then I could go ahead and send it. This address is just a fictitious one, so I'm not actually going to send it, but it would send it as an email, and I could choose whether that invoice would be an attachment or should be embedded into the message. And you'll see that there's some of these options I can actually do multiple attachments. One of our custom clients has requested that we have a call summary along with the invoice, and so we've in our system have added those reports and to be sent together. So we could go ahead and do that. So again, another functionality right from the invoicing window that was created from AutoBill. Again, huge time savings for those people that use that process service invoice window. If you're not using that today, you might want to take a look at that because it might be a time saver for you to do that. At this point, I think I'm going to open up to any questions that people might have around that. Did I lose my screen here? Let's go back. Oh, there we go. I was looking for my... all right, we have a question. All right, I need to expand that here. All right. When we've got some great questions coming in. When using quick mail, does the system create an audit trail that shows the person that sent it, the person sent to, and a date time stamp somewhere in GP?
Yeah, so this is Brandon. So if you decided that you wanted to use Outlook as that, like if Brian were to hit send, we're going to just take some of that same functionality in Outlook, and you would see that in the sent folder, and with who sent it. You can also put notes. So if Brian were to go back, you could also put a note right on that document that you're about to send. So if you, as another option, just to kind of see, so if Brian selects invoice 1,
I could have put a note here.
Could have put a note there, just kind of stating, you know, Brian sent this at what time. You know, just another way if you weren't using Outlook for that type of information. But that's a very good question.
Yep, good question. Thank you for that. We have a few more. All righty. In the email template, can we use word type integration that automatically converts the information in the template, pulling in contact names, other information automatically as well? And that would be back at the email configuration.
Yep. Right now, we are not using the Word templates. We have a kind of a own setup screen to have that information come through at this time, but we're certainly looking at bringing in Word templates to use. Another side piece in our dispatch center for the email capabilities, we do use Word templates there.
Yeah.
Not in this one at this time.
Yeah, but we are looking at bringing it into the quick mail functionality as well.
Yep. Great question.
All right, good questions here. Thank you, everybody. Oh, another one. When will the next auto charge demo be done? That's actually a good question. We try to schedule webinars out. What we've been trying to do now on a weekly basis, multiple weeks in advance, and now we're trying to get to a monthly basis. Auto charge, we do need to put that on the schedule here. Probably there would be the first part of May. Rob, if you need to see that, if you have your team needs to see that, we certainly could schedule that as a one-off on auto charge. Be more than happy to do that. Just let us know, and we'll be happy to do that for you. All right. Any other questions on that? I know I went through things pretty quickly, but as you saw, AutoBill is not. Most of it is what runs behind the scenes. Once you filter, or once you tell the system what you want to build, well, then it automatically runs and creates those individual invoices service calls. So not much more to show you, but it is pretty powerful and a great time saver if you have a bunch of service calls that you obviously need to invoice out there. So I'm going to leave the questions pane open for just a little bit longer. If you have any additional questions, feel free to chime in. Give you one more minute. I put up on the, our contact information. Again, we sell our solutions through reselling partners. So if you're interested in any of the things that I've talked about today, AutoBill and AutoCharge and Quick Mail, certainly contact your partner of record, and then they can get a hold of us. Or you can go ahead and, if you think of any questions after this, just give us a call and we'll go ahead and answer them. And if necessary, we'll go ahead and pull in your partner to engage with you. So let's see if I have anything else. If not, I will let you know that on Thursday of this week, we'll go ahead and we are showing Inventory Round. And actually, when we name that, it's actually a tool that fixes the inherent issue of GP of rounding when the costs don't come out exactly. So that's at 11 o'clock Central Time. If you haven't signed up for that, please do, and we'll look forward to having you on that session as well. Thank you again for your questions, and we'll catch you next time. Thank you.